Welcome back. This is Norman Daniels of Paxton Presbyterian Church. We still are in 1847, and we're going to take a little journey from that period of time to the current setting that we have today, which was put here in 1931. So we're approaching 90 years that this has been in this place. Back in the 1847 time as well, they walled up the little window behind the pulpit, which of course a minister would have used at that time for light. And they moved the pulpit over there on the west side. This is the side that was stoned up, and so the pulpit, a new pulpit, was moved there. They also put a wood floor over the entire sanctuary, and they put in green Venetian blinds like the ones we have here. These are not original, these are copies of an original that was found up in the attic of the sanctuary. So at that point, the church was very stylish for the 1850s. The next change came about in 1858, and they had added a gallery for the choir on the east side. So that's where the choir was. And they had carpet put in the aisles and on the pulpit platform, which would have been down that way. And in 1865, in honor of or memory of Lincoln, they had put black wool over the pulpit area and black muslin draping the inside of the church. And very shortly thereafter, it was stolen. So that's just, very interesting that somebody would steal something like that. Again, in 1867, they carpeted it again, and it was stolen again. So they decided to put what they called coca matting down, and nobody wanted that, and it stayed there till it was torn out in 1887. In 1887, they revised this again, and this is the golden oak period. So they faced all the window openings with oak. The pulpit was replaced with oak. They frescoed the walls, making them gray with a red trim, which I think probably looked pretty nice. But the men of the session decided that they were not going to pay for it. They didn't want it. They didn't think it was necessary. And so the women of the church decided, well, then we will pay for it ourselves, which they did. And there was a quote that said that they made preserves by the barrelful, baked cakes by the hundreds, and gave 2 big fairs. And so the ladies said, if you're not going to do it, we're going to do it. And they did. And in 1892, the first lighting was here, and it was coal oil chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. Remember, the ceiling was flat. It was not barreled as we have today. 1905, we had our first electric lights. And then came the big change, the change that brings to you what you see here today. Now it's 1931. An architect was hired named Bronard Oakey, who is an expert in colonial architecture. In 1931, also the same general time that Williamsburg was being founded, worked on, and so forth. They completely removed the floor, completely. And they dug down into the dirt below, dirt that had been very hard packed with centuries of people standing on it during services. They put in hot water pipes and then put down a cement floor and laid the brick in that. At another installment, we'll go underneath the sanctuary here and you can actually see some of that work. They did have problems cutting into the walls because the walls were made of the old cement of lime, sand, and horsehair, and the workers found that that combination dulled their saws so quickly they had great difficulty cutting in. The pulpit light was an old wrought iron light with a bowl, and it was found in the loft of the church. And the other light fixtures that are around the church are reproductions of one that was found in Reverend Elder's home. And at that time, the reproduction green Venetian blinds were built. So, the only other thing I can show you very briefly is if you look up there, you'll see a little opening. That takes you into the loft of the church. And up there you will find original timbers that were here when Reverend Elder spoke. You will find also steel structures from 1931 and some steel from the 1800s to maintain the integrity of the church. I'm not going to take you up there because, first of all, it's a little tiny opening and I do not want to have you see me get stuck in it. And the other reason being, it's up there and I'm down here and that's the way it's going to stay. So, thank you for coming and listening. Again, if you are interested in knowing more about Paxton, at paxtonchurch.org, you can go to a website to find out about our history, our services, and our live stream service every Monday at 10:15. Remember, God's waiting for you to reach out.